All right. That's what I have to say. Well, Twitter just deleted my account. Seriously, Twitter. Like, do I have to go down to the offices of Twitter and, I don't know, talk to a human being? Be like, look here, mister. I want to speak to your manager. Because what the fart? Seriously. Just... Anyway, welcome to Houston a Problem. Where I've just got oodle problems all day long. We're just probleming it up. We're just probleming here, probleming there, probleming everywhere. So, here we are. Knee deep in problems. GameStop is hooking up with FTX. FTX is basically a Web3 platform that allows you to pretty much tokenize anything. It was theorized that they could be the tokenators for perhaps, I don't know, blockchain stock. They also can apparently cross-platform things, so you can post something to one platform and it goes to every platform. And so people who follow you on Facebook are essentially following you everywhere as a result. Cool. Awesome. Fantastic. Their stock shot up 10% on that news. And then we've got... What was the other news that I had up there, Monkey? Oh, yeah. We didn't talk about it because we're gone all weekend. Bed Bath & Beyond CFO committed suicide, apparently, jumping off of his balcony. That's brutal. Lots of speculation in the news that has to do with the lawsuit that was filed against him, which is just a fluff lawsuit. Although he did sell everything. But he filed ahead of time, so he's selling it. And, you know, my guess is he's like, these guys suck. They're going with BCG and Jim Cramer and all these and everything, and not listening to Ryan Cohen. Peace. That's probably what he did. Then we also have Ukraine has their counteroffensive going, and they are just throttling the Russians. The Russians are running out of munitions. Ukraine is apparently blowing it all up, and Russia is now buying ammo from North Korea, which is... You got to be desperate if you're buying ammo from North Korea. So, it sounds like they're pretty desperate. And what was the other thing, Monkey? Oh yeah, Donald Trump got busted with nuclear secrets of a foreign nation. Basically, our assessment of their nuclear capabilities and weaknesses. And it's been speculated there that that is what Trump possibly sold to Saudi Arabia so that Jared Kushner could get $2 billion into his hedge fund. Man. What a wild week. And Twitter deleted my account again. Intro off. But hey, the monkey cam's working, so we got that going for us. Right, little buddy? Monkey cam's going on, feeling strong. And I cleaned my office. My desk is we use the monkey cam to spot the desk here. The desk is like clear of detritus as much as I can clear the desk of detritus. Monkey jumped away in there. And I got rid of the broken printer that's been back there forever. So, I had a couple little... There's a Godzilla there. There's a weird head. A can of Spam I've had since 1993. So, some accoutrement for back there. I added... Where's a rock? There's a really cool... Right there is an opal geode that Jason Blackwell sent me. That's pretty cool. I think it's pretty sweet. Beautiful. It's got common opal in there, and some potch. I don't know. The light's so bright. Very white indeed. But that thing's cool. Very cool. Okay. Lay it on me, folks. What's going on? What's happening? What's cracking in your world? Just in my head. What's your price if a supervillain tried to recruit you for nefarious science? Super soldier serum, weather machine, evil clowns, blow up the moon, etc. Sort of the game theory of this one, right? Let's say you're approached by a supervillain, by Peter Thiel or something. Peter Thiel's like, I want you to blow up the mountain, create super serum, or destroy a country with a monsoon or whatever. If they ask you and you refuse, they're going to kill you because you're already in on the plan, right? I mean, there might be some sort of way that they secretly, have you working on part of a machine that's going to attach something else. But if you refuse, they're like, well, with no loose ends, you're dead. If you accept it and you do it, you probably just doom the entire world. So there's that problem. If you accept it, can't do it, they're going to kill you. So the only viable option where you don't die and everyone else dies is you accept it, work on it kind of in a way that looks like it might work, but it won't, and use it as an opportunity to kill the supervillain. Because every other option seems to be one that results in you dying and them finding someone else to do the job. So you have to figure out how to either inject yourself with super serum and you become unstoppable, or make their robot suit that happens to just like squish them into nothing, and they don't realize that's what's going to happen. You have to figure out a way. The option 4 is the only way I can think of that you have to accept it, work on it, sort of, kind of Iron Man style. Iron Man was in the cave in the first movie, and he's asking for all these parts to build a machine for the evil, Al Qaeda type guys, and he ends up building a machine that kicks their ass. That's what you have to do. You have to lead them on, and then build something else entirely. So, yeah. So meow meow. So Al Qaeda has a Twitter account, and you don't. Exactly. My stalker is a very successful person at getting my accounts banned, apparently. And while his account is bulletproof and can't be touched. So neo-Nazis, cool. Jihadists, cool. Houston, not cool. Not cool, man. Not cool at all. All right. If you say Eye of Africa, here we come. No Eye of Africa. Drew, what does my fish wear a mattress mean? You explained it a year ago, but I forgot. It's from when Ichiro Suzuki was playing for the Mariners. These tour groups would come from Japan and go to the Mariners games. There'd be 50 of them in a crowd, and they're cheering for Ichiro, and they're doing all banging their little loud sticks and stuff, doing the Japanese style cheering for games. And my little sister, she was, when Ichiro came over, she was 10 and speaks fluent Japanese. And so it's 2001, 2002. So I take her to games, and we ended up near this group of Japanese people, and they'd be cheering "Go Ichiro, go Mariners," whatever, but doing it in Japanese. And so I would give her random things to start chanting, chant this in Japanese. And one of them was, "My fish wears a mattress. My fish wears a mattress," in Japanese. And the crowd was like, "What the fuck?" But eventually they started doing it. So you got 200 people chanting in Japanese, "My fish wears a mattress," over and over and over again. And I'm pretty sure Ichiro Suzuki was just dying in right field from it. But yeah, that's where "My fish wears a mattress" comes from. I can't remember all the other weird things I had her say, but that's the one that stuck out in my mind. Okay. Paratarian Houston. So we have confirmed GME is now focused on proprietary content product releases, announcements with Loopring, IMX, and FTX US aftermarket burst. What do you expect to come soon? Well, my guess is, first and foremost, FTX is going to be a way that they're going to mint video games for them to be traded back and forth on the platform. That and products. So their thing is cross-platform NFTs, so they can be used. You can have a gun in one game and then transfer it over to another game, or trade it with somebody for a skin that goes whatever. Um, the outlier there is their tech can be used to blockchain stocks. So that would be cool. I'm leaning they're probably doing game related stuff first. Second, blockchain. Take back your shares from the DTCC and blockchain some stocks on your own platform. Why not? Who's to stop you from doing it? You don't have to trade things on New York Stock Exchange. It's a private company. You can do whatever the hell you want. So, maybe, possibly, we'll see. Just in my head, thoughts on Bed Bath & Beyond CFO death and who's pushing this class action against RC apes who got caught bag holding BBBY? No, I think it's probably Pomerantz law firm or someone that's pushing it. CFO death, it's crazy, absolute just wild. I mean, it's either suicide or Russian mob. That's the only two reasons that you fly out of a window. Maybe, oops, I slipped. But for the most part, suicide or Russian mob. I doubt the Russian mob's involved. But like, getting sued is not the end of. It's not like the end of the world. Kill yourself. Believe me. I don't know. Maybe he was sick to his stomach that 20,000 people are gonna get laid off, or they're closing stores, or I don't know. Maybe can't speculate. It's absolutely just too batshit. But in the meantime, Bed Bath & Beyond is beyond dead now. They were dead and dying. Now they got nothing. They're tied into something deeper and worse than you could ever imagine, and I don't think they're climbing out of it. Boston Consulting Group has them by the balls, and they are doing everything that those shills are telling them to do, and everything that those shills tell them to do is going to destroy their company. So there's no bouncing back. Paraternus, I know someone who went all in on BBBY like 2 months ago. Poor dude, never sold, just held. I think his only reason is the squeeze play now, but why not buy GME? They may get a couple little kicks here and there, but the fact that whenever there's going to be a kick in price, Bed Bath & Beyond is going to sell their shares and just knock it back down again. It might get shorted to heck even more than it is right now, which may turn out to be something weird later. But, it's one thing to be a squeeze play. It's another thing to be shorted because your company's garbage and your leadership's garbage and your ideas are garbage and your policies are garbage and everything else. That seems to be fighting for the short sellers in this case. Wheatwild, look up Leonard Cohen's house in the beautiful Greek island of Hydra. You really want me to move to Greece, don't you? Shabam. Shaboink. Why don't you want? Go there. Boom, boom. Okay, that's not Cohen's house. He has a house like in the middle of town. It's probably got a great view up here, but I don't know. I expect Leonard Cohen to have something a little bigger. Can we go there? I mean, it's a nice view. I mean, if I had Leonard Cohen songwriter money, I might want to be at the top of the hill, or on the edge of the cliff, or down by the water. I mean, it's better than anything I have now, but come on, get leave me alone. So, it's a dense little town, isn't it? Well, all right. Got a lot of boats. Got a lot of boats moving in and out. Hell of a walk to get up there, isn't it? Got little ruins up here. All right. There you go. Leonard Cohen's house. How about that? Sad boy, Houston. Hope you're doing well. Have you thought about doing a community Zoom call for the show? Community Zoom call for the show. Like everybody is on Zoom? That might be weird. Huh. Huh. Alright, Weird Wild's got something about a rock. Also looks Greekish. Come on, get me. Allow me to highlight and then copy you, for crying out loud. So I can put it into my machine. Not too far away. We're looking at a rock. Want me to look to the east? Can you explain how this rock came to be? So this rock. We're in Greece again. Oops, wrong way. Look that way. And which rock am I looking at, bud? And there I look to the east. This thing? Is that what we're looking at? Looks like was part of this land and got eaten away, probably by coastal erosion. So, there's a ground view. Got to look at it from the top. So this guy here. So, this essentially was a land bridge at one time. When you have ocean action, wave action, if you got seas that come from one direction and seas that come from the other direction, you can start to eat away at either side, and this is how you get sea stacks, like arches in waterways. Eventually, the sea stacks collapse, and you get you have one little thin strip of land bridge, and that's it. On major coasts, like if we go to the west coast US, we can go up here north, like La Pushnia Bay, up here. You can see these are on smaller scales. Like here you have one sea stack, a tiny little land bridge. Here used to be an arch disconnected the two. And the ocean waves batter from the north, ocean waves batter from the south, and slowly eat away from both sides, leaving this rock stack behind. And then eventually they become lone little islands out here. And that's, little islands here. They had the little land bridge at one time, but the ocean waves battered from both sides and took care of it. So it has to do with longshore currents. And those are smaller examples. That looks like a much bigger one there in Greece as to why that formed. Okay. Josh Pepels, Tennessee. Just for funsies, how would or could someone theoretically build a black hole? Perhaps if you got speeds in a particle accelerator fast enough. Essentially, you need a neutron to collapse in on itself to do it. So you might have to have, and I don't know how you get two neutrons moving through a field because they have no electric charge. Therefore, there's no way to get them to go one direction or the other, let alone go to opposite of each other and smash into each other. That's why they use protons and electrons in particle accelerators, because they've got a charge. And so if you create a flux in the magnetic field, those things will move. But if you could somehow get two neutrons to smash into each other hard enough that they merge to form a super neutron and overcome that neutron degeneracy, that would probably technically be a micro black hole. How you do that is beyond me. I don't know how to throw two neutrons at each other to make them make a little mini black hole. Producing a mini black hole would be probably the dumbest thing you could possibly do. You'd hope that it would just evaporate, but if it didn't, if it came in contact with other matter and grew, then it just would keep consuming any matter it came into contact with, would never have the power to leave the mini black hole, and the mini black hole would get larger and larger and larger and larger and larger, or more massive, I should say. It's still tiny. And would eventually just gobble up everything. You might be able to contain a black hole in a magnetic field, because it is spinning, it does have poles. But if that magnetic field waned for any reason, then it's going to suck up the machine that's containing it, and that'll be it. So, but how would you get two neutrons to smash into each other? I don't know. Someone out there might be thinking about it. That would definitely be, if I were an evil supervillain, making a mini black hole to destroy the entire world or hold it hostage would be pretty Bond villain-esque. We wild. Sorry about the grease overload. I got excited. The Big Rock has a beautiful view point from the top and an old, cool town on Southern Slope. That's all right. You can be excited about Greece. It's a pretty place. I'd love to go someday. Okay. Where was I? We wild. Michael Steegs, Houston, do you think there will be a collapse in stocks before the elections on November 4th? I mean, the Biden appointees at the SEC are probably going to desperately try to make sure that doesn't happen before the 4th. But global events, the SEC has no control over global events. They've got no control over oil and gas prices in Europe. They've got no control over wheat prices from exports that can or cannot get out of Russia or Ukraine. There's certain things in this that they have no control over. So I know they're going to try. They probably have the Fed and the plunge protection team working overtime trying to keep these prices boosted. But we'll see if they can hold out for another 2 months. That's a long time. Long time what's going on. I mean, the car bubble's burst. The housing bubble is basically bursting. Europe is going to freeze and or starve to death. Britain's screwed. Britain is absolutely so hosed. My God, you guys and your Brexit, just like much of Western Europe has it bad, but the fact that you left them makes it, you have it like 10 times worse. I just don't know how Britain's going to get out of this without like cannibalizing each other. This is one of those instances where being stuck on an island isn't to your benefit. You're about to have your own like Irish potato famine type thing go on for the main British Isles. Gonna suck. So, sorry, as the Canadians would say. Drew, isn't Citadel invested in FTX, so couldn't this hurt GME? I have no idea. FTX Citadel. FTX hires former Citadel Securities exec to massively scale its crypto exchange. So they have a former Citadel exec that works there. I'm seeing nothing specifically other than the head came over from Citadel. But, you know, it's such an incestuous thing. And Citadel's working on crypto stuff all the time anyway. Oh, here we go. Citadel Securities forms unlikely partnership for its next big move. Oh, Paradigm. That's not FTX. Huh. We'll find out. It's interesting. I mean, it's such a... The little tentacles freaking everywhere. So maybe Citadel will have to be like, oh, shoot, we can short GameStop and destroy our own company, or we can stop shorting GameStop and help our own company, but then lose out on everything we shorted GameStop. It's an interesting predicament for sure. Darnell K. Wilson. Can Adam Aaron dilute shares before ensuring all shareholders receive their dividend? Yeah. He can do it whenever he wants. He's authorized to do another 485 million or so apes and sell those whenever he wants. I'm hoping he holds out until 3 months down the road at least, But yeah, he can sell those things whenever he wants. We might wait for it the price get to like $10, because at $10 he sells us 485 million. That would get him almost enough cash to pay off all of his debts. So, you know, if he sells now, it's going to pay off some of his debts and then piss off his retail holders, and they're going to abandon him in the stock price and go. So it would be best for him not to sell right now and to wait. Just wait. Okay. Dakota, collateral required phase 6, looked into it. I don't know how much collateral is required to make those moves and how much you need for the margin to make those derivatives trades. But it sounds like it's a significant amount, and it varies for how large of an institution or fund you are. But from the sounds of it, it took a couple of months for it to get worked out for those in phase 5, which was derivatives trades of $50 billion a year or more. And those guys were not prepared. And there are like 10 times as many groups at the 8 billion and above level that don't seem to be prepared either, Dakota. So we're going to see where it takes us. I think a lot of that is Europeans who are sick of our crappy regulations in the U.S. That being said, the news yesterday was that there's $1.5 trillion in margin calls going out for energy companies in Europe. 1.5 trillion, meaning the energy companies, they don't have any money. Their customers don't have any money. They can't go out in the market and buy anything, so they've been borrowing to get oil and gas. And that means the EU's probably going to have to print a couple $1 trillion just to make sure people don't freeze to death this winter. And I'm really curious as to, like, if I do my annual trip to go visit my friends and go skiing in Switzerland, my ticket's going to be real cheap. Food is probably going to cost me a fortune. And will they have electricity to run the lifts? Like, I don't know. My lift ticket's going to be like $9 million because that's how much it's going to cost to operate a lift for a day. And there's not going to be very many Euro tourists. They're going to be too poor to go, so it might be wide open. Very interesting. Yeah, we're in such a weird position, trying to like predict how badly all this stuff is going to crash and when is like, we know it's going to be bad, but I think there's going to be things we can't even project right now that are going to be so much worse than even we had imagined, that we're going to go, oh, that was a possibility. Huh. I learned something new. Well, time to eat the family pets. Grandpa Barney. Hey, my island brother. Hope that helped you contact Bigums and Bossman. Much love, my friend. Man, my Twitter just got deleted again. So my way of contacting them is I'm gonna have to like go on Discord. I hate Discord. Discord is organized in such a crappy way. I really hate using it. But I might have to that might be the only way I can contact anybody is through Discord. So, hello, Grandpa. Thank you, Grandpa. Hope you and the Corvette are having a great summer. Been beautiful weather the past few months. Enjoy it. And, man. Alright, I'm gonna get hooked up with those guys. Gah! Everything's a gah! Okay. Does your city have an elevator? A what? 45 degrees. That looks like Oregon. Maybe you're on Salem? Where am I going? Where am I going? Shabam shaboom. Is that Salem? Where are we? Come on. Oregon City Municipal Elevator. Oh, there's an elevator. Because this is a 100 feet high cliff here. Interesting. So there's a municipal elevator take folks up Oregon City. 130-foot elevator which connects two neighborhoods in Oregon City in the U.S. state of Oregon. It is the only outdoor municipal elevator in the U.S. and one of only 4 in the world. The upper portion contains an observation deck with accounts for its flying saucer appearance. So that's what it looks like. That's the municipal elevator. I mean, I've been in Seattle has several municipal elevators to like take you places. I don't know. That's interesting saying it's the only one. There's a couple elevators in Seattle. They're not like this, but interesting. Huh. Original elevators constructed in this area was built as a means of transportation for the residents of the city. Alternative option before the build would have been walking stairs from the base to the top, which consisted of 722 steps. That's a lot of steps. Built in 1912 for $12,000. Huh. Interesting. That's municipal elevator. There you go. You can look at the Willamette River and what was it, Interstate 5? Weird. Okay. Marcia Garcia, happy birthday, Houston. When does the 13-day threshold list hit? Is it 13 trade days or 13 consecutive days? It's trading days, and I think that's the 19th or 20th, somewhere around there. Because I can't remember which day it went on. It was like Tuesday last week, which I think would make it the 19th. Count. Somewhere around there. Okay, meow meow. After MOAS, I'm thinking we all need AMC conquests. Like, go conquer an AMC? Or go do side missions at an AMC? What? Sure. Right on. Right on, brother man. Paratarian, what do you think the average ape will end up selling shares at? Personally, I have a BCG method. If BCG can take a company for $30 million, I'm selling a share for $30 million. That seems perfectly reasonable to me. Why not? I mean, if a stock from China, right? We talk about these Hong Kong IPOs. They do these, what are they called, ARDs or whatever, where they co-list on New York Stock Exchange or NASDAQ, and they say, okay, we're going to do an IPO of 15 million shares. So they get this underwriter. It might be, I don't know, Goldman Sachs or whatever might help underwrite them. And they say, okay, we're going to do an IPO on this day. And Goldman Sachs goes out and says, hey, buddy, do you want some good stock for cheap to all their friends? And they sell the 15 million shares to all their buddies. And then the stock launches on that day, and the Chinese company never delivers any shares to the U.S. market. And so Goldman or whoever is promised 15 million shares to all their friends has no shares to give them and is desperately going on the market trying to buy whatever they can. You have an instant squeeze that goes to, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 within a few hours. If these companies that have no history, no one knows a thing about them, can instantly squeeze to a couple $1,000 on the day of their offering, from like $4 to $15,000 or whatever, why can't an established company we know is overly shorted do exactly the same thing? There's nothing stopping them except for the DTCC, but if you can get instant squeeze out of some random Chinese stock, why can't you get instant squeeze by anything else? Right? Right? And what do I think the average ape will sell for? A couple of grand. We'll go, oh, they'll see zeros in their account and go, sell. That's probably what most of them are going to do. They'll talk good game, but yeah. Don't forget to vote pescatarian. You mean vegetarian? Is that what you mean? Okay. Party City had a great run today. How many people are looking to Party City? We talked about that last week. Tony Tran, need the Mariners to sweep the Braves this weekend. See if they can do it. Braves are pretty good. I was looking up stats of J.R. Ritchie, who's the kid who got drafted out of my high school this year in the between round, 35th pick to the Braves. He went, pitched 4 games. They used him as a reliever for some reason. That kid is starter material all the way. But he pitched 4 games, had a 1.75 ERA. They took him from rookie ball up to single A, so he might get an invite to camp in January, February. That'd be pretty awesome. He's got incredible baseball smarts. His baseball intelligence is really high. And I fully believe that you could take that kid, put him on the mound in a major league game, and he would stand a good chance of winning that game. He'll be in the big leagues if his arm doesn't fall apart. And he's a pretty solid dude. I don't think he's gonna rattle apart. But yeah, so that's the only reason to root for the Braves for me is that J.R. Ritchie will be playing for them someday. But yeah, go Mariners. Woo. Woo. Brandon T. Houston, if DTCC is flat out covering and helping short hedge funds, example Jamie split instead of dividend split, what is the likelihood they just change the rules later to screw us out of MOAS? That is the entire basis for, I think, why the GameStop in their prospectus laid out like, hey, if the DTCC doesn't do their job, we can take our shares back. And that might be what they do. You can remove shares from the system. You can go private. You can request them put on a different exchange of some kind. The DTCC has nothing to do with it. So that might be what they're dangling over the DTCC is, hey, you guys suck. Give us our shares back. Insta squeeze. Because everything has to be closed if that's the case. So, I mean, the DTCC will screw us no matter what. So that ability to go, give us our shares back is the only thing that can save them, I think, in the end. Just in my head, Perseverance rover made oxygen on Mars. Can we turn that into fuel? Theoretically. I mean, you should be able to recapture carbon from CO2 and make fuel, alcohol, all sorts of stuff out of it. The carbon capture that, what's that company? I'm looking towards the dog on the floor as if she's going to know. The one in Squamish, BC, that's doing carbon capture. And they've got a plan to build plants all over. They basically take that carbon and turn it back into gasoline again. They just suck it out of the air, distill it, turn it into gasoline, and it can be burned again later or stored or whatever. So yeah, you can make fuel out of the CO2. It takes a lot of energy to do it, so you got to start with some serious amounts of energy. Excuse me. But yeah, you can do it. I don't know if you can get more energy out of it than you put in though. That's what suns are for, and solar panels. Bad Bones, why does Twitter hate Houston? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I asked them, why? Why do you hate me? What did I do? Please tell me why you hate me so much. First name, last name. Houston, any thoughts on consciousness beyond a physical form? I want to get philosophical here. So this comes down to like ghosts or souls. What's the guy's name? There's a documentary called The God Who Wasn't There. And in one of the outtake interviews that weren't included in the main documentary, there's this dude. He's a PhD, he's a professor of philosophy, and he's talking about how a soul doesn't exist. And he says, because our heads are too big. Meaning, like, why would we as human beings make the most useless babies pretty much in the entire animal kingdom if it wasn't for how important our brains are? Think about it. Like every other animal, they can have longer gestations. They can whatever. But that baby comes popping out of a deer, horse, elephant, whatever. It can walk. It can function. It can pretty much manipulate objects with its face or hooves or whatever. And humans produce a little maggot thing with a giant head, an incredibly painful birth. They can kill lots of mothers without modern science. And this thing is useless for years. For years. It has to be tended to. And made sure it doesn't choke on things and learns how to eat food and whatever. It has to be taught all sorts of basic rules and mannerisms and everything else. And why would we spend so much time and energy and have such an awful birthing experience to create something so useless, specifically because we have to birth it before its head gets too big, before it gets to like giant Irish head size that would just rip mothers apart. We have to birth them when the baby essentially isn't ready to survive, specifically because we have too big of a brain. And if we've spent so much energy, time, evolutionary selection to create that brain, why would we need a soul? Or if we have a soul that contains all of us, why would we need a brain? Why would that brain exist if there's such thing as a soul? What was that guy's name? I have to look it up here. It's a pretty fascinating interview and really made me go, huh. IMDb.com. This came out in 2005. Brian Fleming. Let's go. Bam. Okay, so this is 2005. Sam Harris is in it. Is it Richard Carrier? Richard Price? Crap. Can't remember which one. Richard Carrier. Historian. That's what he was. His interview is fascinating. And then Robert Price, probably the smartest human being I've ever seen interviewed by anybody ever. His interviews are just incredible. Anyway, some of you may not like this documentary, but it's essentially about historical Jesus and how more or less all the stories about Jesus were plagiarized from previous myths. You know, stories of Jesus were stolen from Romulus, Mithra, Osiris, Oedipus, Bacchus, you name it. And how the basis for the modern church, because first century Mediterranean, everyone was aware of Mithra and Osiris and Zoroaster and all these other religions, and like, hey, wait a minute, why are you just copying and pasting these other stories? Like, we've known Mithra's story for a long time. Why are you now attributing Jesus? And it was St. Augustine who basically said, oh, the devil planted all those previous stories 2,000 years ago to sow doubt, and that's been the foundation of the modern church ever since. It's pretty fascinating. The documentary is really short, but I like the extended video interviews that are in there are just mind-blowing. Anyway, check those out. So that's my take. You need a physical form for consciousness, or at least a bunch of computers hooked up to perhaps do it. I don't think ghosts exist. I don't think souls are a thing. There you go. Where was... Okay. Come on. Oh, and then did the reset. All right. Where? Oh, there it is. Okay. Houston, do you think space probes we send up to Mars, etc., can contaminate the environment with biological hitchhikers from Earth, skewing any future findings? Yes, they can. But space is really, really gnarly. And it wants to kill pretty much everything. So, like, unless you're a water bear, everything else is going to get zapped by high energy radiation passing through the Van Allen belts or whatever. So that is the one saving grace we have. But nothing's perfect. It could be, bacteria on a human hair that's on a piece of whatever, and it lands on the Curiosity rover, and now all of a sudden you've got bacteria that loves hair on Mars. I don't know how to propagate or what, but it's very possible. I mean, we probably need to dump a bunch of anaerobic bacteria onto Mars simply to get rid of the perchlorate in the soil. We got to turn that perchlorate into chlorides, and anaerobic bacteria is basically the only way to do that. So we need to just sprinkle it all over the place on Mars if we're going to do any colonizing there. So we have to contaminate that soil eventually. Carlos, what's good, Senior Wade? What's up with that bump in No Labs Tuesday? Side at $4 and the 344, stay at 336. Love from Jersey. Thank you. Well, No Labs is making a push to get onto the New York Stock Exchange, which means their stock, I think, has to be at $4. So they've got some news coming out. They released a video showing tests they were doing with their non-invasive glucose monitor. So they have this chair with two sensors, and people sit down and it records their glucose levels, and it shows on a monitor what each sensor is recording it as, and then they take a finger prick to get a baseline, and they've been having hundreds of people do this. It seems to be going fairly successfully, and they might move on to the next step soon to see if it's going to get the FDA approval. And if that happens, man, they're going to be so rich. Oh my gosh, they're so rich. Just from Dax, how big does a spaceship need to be to create its own natural gravity? Well, if you want to create gravity of 1G, it has to be the size of the Earth. You might be able to replicate it through a spinning environment, get that centripetal force going. But I mean, everything has gravity. It's just whether you notice it or not. So there are like asteroids that have little rocks that orbit them. So there's asteroids with their own little satellites, and the asteroid's not very big, maybe a couple miles across. But there's enough gravity there that there's a little rock floating around it that's in a gravitational system with that big rock. But yeah, if you want to get 1G, you have to have something that's 10 to the 31 kilograms. So pretty big. 10 to the 29. Crap, how big's the Earth? I think the Sun is 10 to the 31. No. Big. Whatever it is. Justin Stewart's got somewhere subtropical. Looks like maybe Mexico? Bam. Bam. Bam? No, sorry, it was east, not west. Taiwan? Is that where we are? What are you? Beidou incinerator. Oh, we got ourselves a big old trash incinerator. It's a waste incinerator Taipei. The power station connected to the plant has a power of 48 megawatts. A unique feature of the facility is that 150 meter tall chimney is facilitated with a revolving restaurant that had on 20 meters. What? So you can go to a trash incinerator, go up the smokestack, and there's a restaurant. That's crazy. There's your public elevator right there. Go up there and have a revolving restaurant just like the Space Needle, and you can have a bunch of trash smoke billowing out above. That is a fascinating place, Justin. Huh. When was this place built? Because I don't remember it being there when I was a kid. Oops, that's not what I wanted. I didn't want to do that. I want to close you. Oh. July 91. So that was a year after I was there. I was there in 1990. So I never got to... I didn't know there was a trash plant. You could go get dinner at a revolving restaurant. World's first restaurant on a waste incinerator chimney. Well, that's obviously... Which seats 120 guests, powered by energy from the incinerator. Cool. when we go to Taiwan for vacation, we can definitely go visit the Waste Incinerator restaurant. That's rad. I love that idea. Why don't we do weird shit like that anymore in the U.S., man? We could be having Waste Incinerator restaurants everywhere, but instead we put all of our garbage onto a barge and then ship it to go get probably incinerated in Taiwan. We could be doing that here. We have all the power. Just from Dax, did your stalker's name pop up on that list of Oathkeeper members? I haven't had a chance to look up the all the names on the list yet, but I wouldn't doubt it. If anyone can look up Richard Lee Reinierson on the list, I'll check it out after the show, see if I can find him. David Dixon, how's No Lab stack up against Apple and Samsung, who have also been working on non-invasive glucose monitors for years? They're ahead of them. They're the only ones in human trials right now, so that's how they stack up. Plus, their tech, they've got a boatload of patents. Their tech can be used for a lot more than just glucose monitoring. Theoretically, they could take their tech, point it at you, looking for certain signals, and be like, oh, you have such and such disease because we found the particles in your body of the molecule that causes that, or the virus, or whatever. You could set up like systems, like a metal detector scanner. People can walk through it and be like, oh, this person has this virus and disease and whatever. It's pretty crazy what they can do with it in the end. They're just trying to get the glucose approval because it's such a huge market, it would pay for the development of everything else they can use that tech for. I mean, they'll instantly be pulling in $20 to $50 billion a year, probably almost pure profit at that point. And they could just spend that on all the other tech that they can use that stuff for. Guitar Stuff Houston, you know what I just did? I hit the like on the stream. Also, why do you think they didn't short us in the earnings call this time? I think because they spent all week shorting us anyway. We went from 45 to 25. That's a $20 drop. In the matter of a couple weeks. So they probably ran out of steam. Probably didn't have anything left to short us with. Beach Bum, GME plus FTX tokenizing stock trading perhaps. Haha. Keep up the great content, and hey, some of your shirts will match great with my username. Mitch, supervillain might be the theme of the day. Let's roll with it. Hey Houston, what's your favorite James Bond villain secret hideout that you would like to own? I love ghost towns, so I really like Javier Bardem's, which is that weird island off of Japan. Let's see if we can find it. It's a former mining island. I think it was a coal mining island or something. It's a real place. Let's see here. It is... which one is it? It's one of these, I think. Nope. Which island is it? It's one of these little guys. It's out here somewhere in these straits. Might have to type it into abandoned mining island, Japan. Hashima. That's what it is. Okay. Give me your coordinates. Hashima. I'll just type it in. I knew it was down there. There we go. Hashima. Yeah, this place. This is awesome. I love abandoned places. So this is where... What was Javier Bardem's character's name? I can't remember. He'd take his teeth out, his face still sunken. This was where his hideout was this abandoned island. And it was... come on, give me the full article here. Nagasaki Prefecture, island's noble features, abandoned concrete buildings, undisturbed except by nature. The surrounding seawall, while the island is a symbol of rapid industrialization of Japan, is also a reminder of Japanese war crimes at the site of forced labor camp. Mines were established. Undersea coal mines were established in 1887. Which operated through industrialism of Japan. The island reached peak population. 5,000 in 1959, 1974, and the coal reserves nearing depletion. The mine was closed, and all the residents departed soon after, leaving the island effectively abandoned for the following decades. Interest in the island reemerged in the 2000s on accounts of its undisturbed historic ruins, and gradually became a tourist attraction. Certain collapsed exterior walls have since been restored. Travel to Hashima has reopened tourists on April 22nd, 2009. Increasing interest resulted in initially protected itself as a World Heritage Site. Yeah. They don't mention the Bond show, but yeah, there you go. That's my favorite Bond lair right there. Ace Ventura, Houston. Hey, Ace Ventura. Anonymous Houston, what are your thoughts on HYMC stock? Meh. I mean, there's a lot of junior mines out there, and I'm sure I'll be curious to see what their drilling operations, what the assays from drilling operations find. But from their known reserves, if they do not have plans to set up a metallurgical plant to process sulfide ore, they got nothing. If they happen to find a whole bunch of more high-grade ore with these drills, fantastic. They could probably last on that for a few years. But there's like $18 billion in sulfide ore that needs to be processed, and they don't really seem to have any cash or plans to build a metallurgical site that can do that. So, yeah. And MZ Eve looking extra cute today. Oh. Project Sun, holy shit, you straightened up your room slightly. I straightened it up slightly. It has been straightened slightly. I have a clear desk I can actually do things on. One of the biggest problems was you guys send such cool letters to me for stickers, which, where did, oh crap, did I lose my stickers? I put them somewhere. Where did I, uh-oh. What did I do with my stickers? No. Crap, I cleaned my room so well I don't know what to do with my stickers. What did I do with you? Where are you? Crap. Oh, they're there. They're hidden. Okay. But I don't know how many stickers I have left. How many do I have left here? You don't count your garbage. No. Okay, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I've got 16 stickers left. 16 stickers left. When I run out of stickers, I'm sending Valpak coupons to you. But if you send a self-addressed stamped envelope to the address below, the P.O. box below, I will send you a sticker to at least the next 16 people until my little sister happens to gift me more stickers. And you get a sticker. But your letters are just so lovely. I had this pile of them, and I finally had to make a file folder. I can't get rid of them. I can't. They're so, I read them and my heart swells. But send me self-addressed stamped envelope. I'll send you a sticker, and we can get those. Oh wait, no. There's a couple more in here. Sorry, I didn't get all of them. There's 16. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. I've got 24 stickers. Here we go. So the next 24 people to send me a self-addressed stamped envelope gets a sticker. And you can put on something weird, like your brother or cousin or something. And this one, it's got a weird sticky thing on it. And I got one garbage one that's got stuff stuck all over it, so there's 25-ish, counting that. So someone might get the garbage one with the stuff stuck on it, and that might be your sticker. That'll be the last one that comes in. I don't know if I can get that cleaned off. But anyway, yeah, so 25-ish stickers. Clean room. I got everything put into a file folder. I can find later, read again years from now. I mean, I even got like family. People have sent me family photos. Got a lovely family photo from Jeremy here. This family. Like, thank you. I'm glad to be a part of it. Michael, here in Houston, No Labs went in a small run. When is the IPO happening? Better to buy on OTC and wait for IPO? I think it's better to buy, well, probably 2 weeks ago is the best time to buy when they're still under $2. 3 weeks ago, whenever that was, it's probably the best time to buy because they're going to be moving up to the New York Stock Exchange. And the fact that they're moving up to the New York Stock Exchange is, I think, them announcing to everybody, like, hey, we're legit. This thing's going to get approved by the FDA, and we're going to be a big-time company. Because while they're floating around on the OTC, you know, they were... and the reason why they're floating around the OTC is that Ron Erickson, their founder and CEO, the dude's filthy rich. He was an initial investor in Facebook. He was an initial investor in Double Down Interactive. And I can't remember all the companies that he's helped found and start. The guy has made cajillions, and so he could just create a C Corp, issue some shares, and just self-fund all of his research from that point forward. And so now they're like, okay, now we got some real stuff here. Time to go on the New York Stock Exchange and be a real company. Bzz. Houston, what are the benefits of going to a credit union rather than having a checking account from a bank? Just trying to see the total comparison. Your credit union's not going to go under. They're a nonprofit. You own it as a member. Interest rates are better. You're not supporting a big bank in their profit motives. You're not going to get nickel and dimed with all sorts of fees and everything else. It's easier to get loans through your credit union, probably at lower interest rates as well because they're not for profit. Yeah, you and the other members own it, so that's the best reason I can think of. Meow meow. There's a book, Proof of Heaven, by a brain surgeon named Eben Alexander. He was brain dead for a week. Extremely well written. All right, I'll check it out. Proof of Heaven. Brain surgeon, brain dead for a week. I don't ever want to be brain dead for a week, man. That would suck. Did I get all the blue ones? Make sure I got all the blue ones. Oh, Plymouth Conquest. Okay. Oh, I didn't get one from Andrew Stewart. He's got coordinate blue one. Sorry, Andrew. Control C. Go there. Back to Google Earth. Shabam, shaboink, shaboom. Where are we, Colorado? That looks like a crater. Docero crater. It's scoria cone, evaporitic rock, basalt tephra, oxidized sandstone. Erupting approximately 4,200 years ago, the youngest volcano in Colorado is currently dormant. Okay, it was. Well, I'm in Colorado, and that is a volcano. Huh. That's quite the pit crater. A lot of people have been off-roading through the scoria out here. This must have been the flow. 4,000 years ago. Blowout Hill. Somebody had a blowout up here. I always find it goofy when someone is able to find, like, a piece of land just big enough for an irrigation sprinkler system. Like, just one random circle. That's my farm, right there. Burnt in the middle of this mountain range. Okay, cool. I didn't actually realize that there was any volcanoes that young in Colorado. 4,000 years old. Why can't we have, like, cool volcanoes going off in the middle of the continent like we used to? Like the good old days. I want there to be volcanoes just farting out in the middle of Montana. Like, why 4,000 years ago and why not today? Huh? Why not? The last time I heard of one happening like that was that weird volcano that popped up in Mexico in, like, the 1960s. Just, like, started erupting this dude's farm field and then pretty much was, like, a 1,000-foot tall mountain a few days later. I want that. That's awesome. It gives us something to talk about. Like, oh, this whole county in Colorado just got wiped out by a volcano. Isn't that interesting? And I would go, yeah, that's really interesting. Let's go poke it with a stick. Whew. Sorry I didn't get to that earlier, Andrew. I apologize. Okay. I did add a creepy head. I can turn it one way, it's okay. And then if I turn it this way, it's got teardrop. It murdered somebody. There you go. It's a murderer. I don't know where that head came from. It belonged to my sister, and then I inherited it somehow, and now I have it. Bonobo Bono. Thank you. Thank you, Bonobo Bono. Where's the Crystal Grove kit? The Crystal Grove kit is right here. It's hiding off stage right. I moved it. So you guys thought I did something with it. No, I haven't done anything with it. It's still hiding there. Nice haircut. Thank you. I cut it myself, you know, because I'm too lazy to go sit in line somewhere and have someone else cut it. It takes me 15 minutes. Done. Got your ears lowered. Did your ID for the community college days inspire to get a haircut? No, I cut it days before that. It was time. I had to. And once it starts like touching my ears again, if I'm not going to grow it all out, and the skin horns make it weird if I try to grow it out and have long hair again, it just looks pathetic. So I look like a English professor who's newly divorced trying to hit on a student or something. Just not cool. WOPR Highcroft had a post earlier stating they might be sitting in one of the biggest silver reserves in the U.S., 1 billion possible ounces. Now, is it 1 billion possible ounces in sulfides, or is it 1 billion possible ounces in regular silver ore? Comstock, blue, clay. Because if it's in sulfides, they're going to have to spend $1 billion to make a metallurgical facility. Big Dog, what's up, buddy? How's it going? How's it going? Yes. Didn't come over and say hi to everybody in a while. Big Dog is here. We got a date for you. I think it's the 24th. So 1 week longer than I was expecting. And then you go back to your mama. Yes. So. How many days is that? It gives us a little more than 2 weeks. You okay with that, Big Dog? You okay with that? Hi, Nacho friend. Aloha from Wahoo, chilling with JMJ Gaming. Well, welcome. Everyone from Wahoo is here. Fantastic. And you guys have a lot of coordinates today. And I am well more than an hour behind in the chat. Holy smokes. That's because I love coordinates. And Shablap, somewhere in the Appalachians. We are at a parking lot. We're at a forest and a parking lot. We're at Lorey Caverns. Ooh. Lorey, Virginia, which has drawn many visitors. Underground cavern system, generously adorned with lots of stalactites. Okay. Groovy. Right, Big Dog? You think it's fantastic, don't you? Yes, you do. We have to do some spelunking. We don't have very many caves out here. There's one cave. Is it Mammoth Caves out in eastern Washington? And I've never been to it. Marble Mouth? Ah, crap, what's it called? There's some cave up here in Okanagan that's a mini version of what you guys have out on the East Coast. But I've not been to it yet. Someday. Someday I'll go and I'll bonk my head in something. It's been to a Russia buying ammo from Aw, dog, beat me to it. It just means in Ibiza. Fantastic. Ron Rivera, please find a way to activate your Twitter account. Man, I don't know if I think I'm probably screwed in Twitter account front. I may have to like get a whole second phone, VPN, new email address, new phone number, the whole works. But man, shit. I know the problem. The problem was that I logged in from this computer to announce that I'm doing a show, and Twitter went, oh, not that device, delete. And that's what happened. I think that's what happened. Right, big dog? Yeah. Oh, your face is just so scratchy. Such a scratchy nose. How do you get such a scratchy nose on you? How do you have a scratchy nose? Yeah, it's kind of a scratchy nose. Yeah. You don't like your nose scratched as much as this guy does. Ricardo Pestic Houston, you see how dry some of the rivers in China are getting? Super dry. The last I heard last week, they had gone 70 days of temperatures above 40 degrees Celsius in a row. 70 days of 104 degrees Fahrenheit in a row. The lowest temperature they recorded at night was 94 degrees Fahrenheit, 34.9 degrees Fahrenheit during those 70 days. It's just essentially just evaporated all of Sichuan, which is the drainage for the Himalayas for most of the rivers that feed China and Southeast Asia. So they don't have any hydropower. Hydropower is done, which is okay because none of their steel plants can produce any steel anyway because they have no construction business anymore. It is such a perfect storm of horrible crap happening to really just stick the knife in and twist for the entire global economy. It is just wild, man. It's just... Oh, big dog. Are you trying to snuggle now? No, just me. I kicked off Twitter again right before the show. Don't put your head in the keyboard. I know what you're trying to do. Do not put your head in the keyboard. What's with the severed head? It's there, man. That's what it's for. I did move the crown. The crown is over my shoulder now. I gotta change things up. It's been a while. I mean, I know you guys got used to some things. I have to move some stuff around. I gotta change things up every once in a while. My roommate was like, you should really move some stuff around in the background. Your fans will notice it. Ta-da! Okay. Corey Ryder, hats, a neat one. Wife's aunt and uncle have a neat one. We're rockhounds too. I have an 80 to 100 pound amethyst. Kick ass. Geode amethyst. Those things are awesome. Like big thunder eggs. Those are rad. I like those. I'm gonna miss that printer. Well, it's Canon. It's been dead for 4 years, and I just finally had to do something with it, which meant taking it out of here and putting it in the hallway until I did something else with it. I have so much ink for it, too. I have like 10 years worth of ink and a printer that refuses to print. Andrew Stewart, Houston. Hey, dude, you're rad. Skateboards or BMX bikes? I rode both, so yes. Man, I enjoyed skateboards most when I got to use the Seattle bus system as a lift ticket. So when I was going to school at Seattle Central, I'd take the bus up and then ride my skateboard back down the hill to the ferry boat, and it was just so much fun every day. But BMX riding, like, I love just jumping on trails. And what are you? What is that? Oh no, that's not. Oh shit. That's not for you to eat. That was a gift from one of my viewers, you ding dong. That was a mask from Colombia. Why are you eating that? That's not for you. Here. You can eat that. Okay, that was for you. Not. Bummer, man. These little dogs chewing on things they're not supposed to chew on. How'd you get that? Okay. Where was I? What was I talking about? BMX bikes. I like BMX bikes. I like them all. Be active. Do stuff. People on nuclear weapons. Coffee and donuts and Homer. Can we mint and collect Houston Wade NFT Twitter accounts? Why not? Why not just mint them all? Just more and more mustaches stuck into my face to hide who I really am. Cloud9, Houston, how about Mullins onboard water condenser for their cars? I hadn't heard about that. Mullins signs partnership with WaterGen to launch atmospheric drinking water devices, teaming up with Mullins to launch water from air solutions for Mullins electric water vehicles. WaterGen also has current collaborations in place with leading OEMs and Fortune 500 companies. Mullins will be the first to launch and implement WaterGen in its entire lineup of electric vehicles. Well, I mean, that's cool and all, but they don't have a line of electric vehicles. They've got 2 cars that we have no idea if they work or not in their showroom, and that's it. I mean, if you could build an H2O car, like what was that dude in, was it Michigan who built one and then died? But he basically made a hydrogen car. So there was hydroelectrolysis machine that would separate the hydrogen from the water, and then it would burn the hydrogen in the engine, creating water again. That was the exhaust. Now, you could create a water condenser that would suck water out of the atmosphere, feed into the hydroelectrolysis machine that would then burn the hydrogen, spit out more water that, if you did it right, you could have a still captured again and feed more water in the machine. And that might be a way to go. Essentially give you not infinite mileage, but a lot more mileage than you had before. You just have to make sure the electricity it takes to get the hydrogen out is less than the energy it takes for the hydrogen to explode. And so you could have an alternator perhaps power that whole system, and it would be pretty useful. That might be the future. Walt Chavaria, Houston. Have you heard of Dark Pulse Energy, DPLS? Can you give us your input? I know you live Penny. Hey. She's the one enjoying the toy. It's not yours to enjoy. Jeez. Nope. Don't look to me for consoling. You're the one who messed up and got between her and her toy. Nope. Don't come over here to get consoled. I'm not going to console you. Are you chewing anything? He's going to go steal it now. Because he just left it. He just abandoned it, ding dong. Now he's got the toy. Holy shit, headphones in. Sorry about that. They going for the murder. While Monkey is literally half the size of the big dog, she could murder him if she wanted to. She is so insanely strong that he would stand a chance. And now she's all like, harump, I'm sorry. He stole your toy. You fought him, but you didn't go back and claim it. That was your mistake. That was your mistake, dummy. Yeah. You once defend your toy, you're supposed to go back and claim it, not just let him have it again. Gay Delcon now was asleep. Well, if you're gonna take bets, bet on Monkey. She is just so crazy strong. All right. Where were we? What were we talking about? I totally forgot what we were talking about. Something about PLS, something or other. Oh, DPLS. I know nothing about dark pulse technology. Dark pulse technology. Distributed Fiber Sensor Solutions is more than a technology company. In addition, extensive work on the manufacture, sale, installation, monitoring of laser sensing systems. DPLS. I know nothing about them, nor what any of it means. Aerospace, mine safety, oil and gas, pipeline security. They got a lot of stock photos. And a whole bunch of companies I've never heard of. I'll look them up. I know nothing there, Walt. I apparently they're using lots of stuff. I don't know anything about them. Innovation, the speed of dark. Extensive work, manufacture, sale, installation of monitoring laser systems. The company is focused on expanding its services and partnerships to address global infrastructure and critical resource challenges. It means nothing to me. Based in New York. Aerospace. Alright, I don't know nothing about them. We'll figure that out. Okay. Didn't want a monkey, but... dog fights! Ah! Okay. Where was I? WOPR. Sorry, my Highcroft comment was mistaken. It was from someone on Twitter, not Highcroft. Ah. Okay. Was SPY secretly the MOAS play all along? I mean, if you're invested in SPY puts, you're going to be making money probably over the next 6-7 months. It's going to keep going down, 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 down. If the crash happens anytime between now and November, the bottom of the market might be March, April. If that's the case. So, suckers going to keep going down. That guy, how efficient is heating sand with the use of solar power as a way to heat or power a greenhouse? I have no idea. I don't know. I have to look into... I mean, sand likes to radiate heat away. It cools off pretty quickly. It insulates. The top layer gets heated. The bottom layer stays pretty cool. I mean, if you've ever dug into sand, you can sense that. I don't know. I'd have to look into sand as a source of heating, powering a greenhouse. Bonobo. What kind of stone is Rosetta Stone made of? I think it's just basalt. It's just a piece of basalt rock. Rosetta Stone. Wikipedia. Granderite. Okay. Cross-grained, intrusive igneous rock similar to granite, but containing more podgiclase feldspar than orthoclase feldspar. So it's a granitic rock, so it's higher in silica than basalt. It was black, so I assumed it was basalt. This guy here. So there's a Rosetta Stone. I thought it was basalt because it was black, but it's granderite. Yeah, there you go. That's Rosetta Stone. Where are we? G-Fund, FYI, GME is a tokenized stock on the FTX exchange. Well, that's the coin, like the GME coin that somebody made that I don't think is actually GME. It's just someone else made a stock that you can invest in without actually investing in GameStop. But it's a coin that's tied to the price of GameStop. They did that for AMC, they did it for a lot of things. There's a lot of tokenized stocks on there that I think are just coins someone minted and then wrote code to say, whatever the price of GameStop is, that's the price of this coin. John B. Ever wonder why Ukraine doesn't blow up that bridge on the Crimean Peninsula? Minimal casualties and a might slow Russian Black Sea Navy. No. Well, a few have touched on it. Trent Tolenko, open source intelligence guys, talk about it quite a bit. I need to go there. Go to Crimea. The big ass Crimean bridge here. It connects Crimea to Russia. So that's the bridge. It is a very big bridge. The problem is the Ukrainians don't possess warheads that can get that far. They're large enough to do significant damage to the bridge. They might be able to put some holes in it, but it's going to take a lot of firepower to blow it up. There's been speculation that it's for cars and trains. There's been speculation that I don't know how far we can zoom in on this thing. That the rail line that runs next to the road, that if there's a train going over, it happens to be a munitions train, they could drop something on the munitions train, and the explosion from that would take out the rest of the bridge. Maybe not the car side, but definitely the rail side. That, and if they manage to take Crimea in general, then they can just stop traffic. But it sounds like the Ukrainians are about to make their way at least up to the border of Crimea and start taking over. They took Kherson. The Russians moved a bunch of their forces from the north down here, and now they're doing a counteroffensive in the north, pushing right up to the border in Izium. And the Russians are like, oh crap! And so they don't know where to go. And their forces in the south have been so cut off from food and water and everything else that they're just giving up. They're like, we're not even fighting. They're like, well, we can't do anything about it. A lot of them are trying to push the Russians up against the Dnipro River and basically just shell the heck out of the Russians, because they blew up all the bridges and their ways across the river. So all the mechanized forces have nowhere to go, and they've been pushing them up against the river, and then just having their mortars just blow the hell out of them all along the edge of the river. So, I mean, some of these units are facing 50% or higher casualties, and they are doomed. For the last 2 months, the Ukrainians have been blowing up all the ammo dumps that they can find. Any ammo dump that was in the range of their HMERs or artillery is gone. And so there's no bullets, there's no munitions for any of the soldiers that are anywhere around here. They're just gone. So my guess is that they took Kherson. They're going to be moving, perhaps to go back, take up Melitopol and Mariupol, and push their way up against the Russian border. And the Russians run out of tanks, they run out of everything. The thing the Russians didn't count on was a long skirmish. They thought 3 days. We've cool. We can do it 3 days. We'll take Kyiv, and that'll be it. The problem is that their jet engines are made in Ukraine, their ships are made in Ukraine, their rocket engines are made in Ukraine, and so without actually taking Ukraine, they have no way to replace any of that material. They don't have the manufacturing capability in Russia to do it. They don't have the tooling to do it. All that tooling and know-how is based in Ukraine, and Russia is running out of stuff. So, oops. What are you gonna do? You tried to take over the one country that made all of your weapons for you, and now you are running out of weapons. Hey, I know you took the heart out. That's it. Heart is done. Don't chew on that anymore. Okay, so boink. What? What do you want now? What? Just Body's Bed Bath stock ripped somehow today. Did it? Didn't seem like it was doing much today. BBBY. Oh, it went up a little bit. 11%. It was up 12%, almost 13%. Oh, sorry, 15% at one point. That must be the T13s triggering for a lot of that stuff, making it go up. Weird. But, hey, Oh, some people got some money back on their calls. I got rid of mine when it was at like $9. I was like, no. So it's still below that. DWAC went up again today. Why on earth would DWAC go up? They announced that regulators aren't going to let them do anything with it. They didn't file their paperwork properly, and Donald Trump might be going to prison. So why on earth would DWAC go up? SPAC collapse, man. SPAC collapse. All right. Where are we? Houston, we got a haircut. Oh, I'm so far behind. I'm like an hour and 15 minutes behind now in the chat. This might be the furthest I've ever been behind everybody. FYI. Star stuff. Why can't people just accept that maybe the BBBY CFO had mental health issues? Reach out to people you care about. Reach out if you need help. It's just tragic. Yeah. I think it could be something as simple as that. They just had a depressive episode or something. I don't know. Yeah. Alan Komaski, do you think hedge funds will be able to wiggle out of the threshold list without covering ape FTDs? They shouldn't be able to. And the entire point of having things on the threshold list is that you can't wriggle out of it. Yeah. Andrew Stewart, Houston, who is the best MLB pitcher of all time and why is it Yadier Molina? Want to talk about what having a good catcher means to a pitcher. Yadier Molina's good. I mean, if you're managing a pitching staff, and for me, I always connected basically with one catcher on the team. Like, because a knuckleballer, there's always some catcher who just get pissed off. He didn't want to catch me, and he made it known. And usually the backup catcher is like, hey, I want playing time. I'll catch this guy. And we hit it off. He's usually a chill dude, and I like a chill dude behind the plate. I tell them what kind of game I want to call, and they call that kind of game. And I usually don't have to like shake them off when they're doing pitch calling. Like throwing a baseball to a dude that's high strung and not chill at all is such a pain in the ass. Good catchers make the best managers in the end. You look across baseball, some of the best managers who ever played the game were catchers because they know what it's like to be a hitter and they know what it's like to manage a pitcher and their weirdness. They know how to call a game. They know what plays are running. They know they have better eyes in the field than pretty much anyone else because they're watching everything. They are the only ones truly watching every action. So catchers make fantastic coaches. Pudge Rodriguez was amazing. He didn't really get a chance to manage truly great pitchers, though. His era in Texas was kind of devoid of a lot of good pitchers. Nolan Ryan was there for a while. Dan Wilson managed some fantastic pitchers. He's probably the biggest reason why Randy Johnson calmed down was Dan Wilson being behind the plate. Jorge Posada is pretty good, except I hate giving Yankees compliments. Sandy Alomar was fantastic. Couldn't hit for shit, but that man could catch and throw base runners out. Who else is really good? Buddy? Mike Zunino was really good. He was with the Mariners for a bit. His problem was they kept swinging at sliders and striking out constantly. We traded him to Tampa Bay, where he's done okay. That guy could be a 40 home run hitter if they could just teach him to just sit there with his bat on the shoulder for like 10 games in a row and never swing at anything. Because he can only hit fastballs. Anything's off speed, he chases it and he can't hit it. And he gets fooled by every off speed and changeup and slider in the world. And they have his number. So, you know, if they can get 2 strikes on him, you know the slider's coming and you know it's going to be 5 feet off the plate and in the dirt. Just don't swing. And he goes, eh. And he chases it. And that's why the Mariners got rid of him. Because he can bat 150 and hit 30 home runs and still not help your team at all because the only time you're seeing fastballs is when your team is behind by 10 runs anyway. So, otherwise they're not going to give you anything to hit. So that was his biggest problem. But you can have a catcher who can't hit for crap and a shortstop that can hit for crap. But if they can play their position really well, they still have a spot on the team. And all the Euros are like, I don't care. Flight 99, Houston, John Meagh's Hawaiian Shirt Show is going on in Tacoma through the end of the week. Gonna make it? What? John Meagh's Hawaiian Shirt Show? Oh, I didn't know about this. John Meagh's Hawaiian Shirt Show. Art of the Aloha. 1938 to 51. Traveling exhibit. What is going on? Shabam. What designs? 3851. These are gorgeous. How they got designed and the silk screened on. Fantastic. Oh, every single one of these is an awesome shirt. Take a virtual tourist exhibition on view University Art Galleries, Texas A&M University. Oh, is this not the one that's coming? Where Tacoma. Comes to Tacoma. Here we go. WashingtonHistory.org. July 1st, September 11th. Oh crap. That's only a few days. How come I didn't know about this? The 11th is Sunday. I don't know if I can make it to Tacoma by then. Maybe Saturday I can go. There's only 60 shirts? I've got like 60 shirts from that era. Alright, I have to pick out my best like silk vintage Hawaiian shirt that's 70 years old and wear it to this thing. Maybe I'll go on Saturday. Alright, okay. Thank you. Thank you for telling me. I did not even know that was going on. Okay, flight guy. Thank you. Andrew Stewart, if Moet doesn't happen this week, I'm going to replace the welcome mat at my front door with marbles. Michael Harrow, where was Atlantis supposedly located? Not a clue. Atlantic Ocean somewhere, I take it, because it was called Atlantis. I mean, every time someone finds something that's underwater, like, oh, it's Atlantis. But water level's been rising for quite some time, so there's lots of... in the Mediterranean and in the Black Sea itself, like along the coast of Turkey, there's all sorts of cities that have vanished. They're all on the coast here. Similarly, you can go to places like Alexandria out here, and off the coast are all sorts of ruins that have been flooded as sea levels rose over the last few thousand years. There are entire sections of the city of Alexandria that are underwater out here, and you can go diving through them. Let's see if they have any dive sites at all. I'm not sure where they would all be, but that's the reef there. So, but all throughout here, there's tons of dive sites of flooded parts of the city. I decided not to download pixels anymore. Do I have to do a Google restart? I'm not slowly doing it. El Nile. Canopus, Egypt. Oh, here's one. Yeah, this is Canopus. This was a city that's now gone. Bank of the mouth of the Nile. So that's the land there now, and then all this is what used to be there. So those places aren't there anymore. They're gone. So that, that can lend some credence to a tale of Atlantis, when entire cities just go underwater and they're gone forever. Yeah, but no one knows exactly where Atlantis would be otherwise. Andrew Stewart, I'd vote for San Francisco Giant catcher Parker Posey. Parker Posey was good, and he managed a hell of a pitching staff. He had Washingtonian Tim Lincecum, two-time Cy Young award winner, who blew his arm out. He also had that big redneck guy. The big redneck dude. Can't remember his name. They had a hell of a pitching staff there in early 2010s. Bex, Houston, happy birthday. In the movies, when jewels get stolen, they are inevitably made of paste, dramatically crumbling on a matter. What is paste? How does it replicate gemstones? I don't know. There's no paste that I know of that can replicate a diamond. The only stones that have refractive indexes close at or above diamond is going to be moissanite, which is worth money on its own, or the refractive index of demantoid garnets are pretty high and have a high color dispersion rate, but not quite as high as diamond. But those are green, and they don't look anything like diamonds. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the paste is. I think it's a Deus Ex Machina type thing that's convenient for everybody. Like, oh, it's a fake diamond. The technology to make a fake diamond like that would be just as magical as making a diamond itself, probably. So yeah, I don't know, Bex. Cape Disappointment State Park was created by building a jetty. Why not build a jetty to fight coastal erosion on Pacific Islands? Okay, let's go there. So, this jetty here was created because this jetty here were created because the mouth of the Columbia is one of the most dangerous waterways in the entire world. The Columbia River has pretty much almost as much water coming out of it as the Mississippi River does. It's one of the highest outflowing rivers in the world. And the ocean is really angry right here, with a lot of due west swells that come right into the mouth, and there's just ships sunken everywhere. So in order to calm down some of the oceanic swells that come through here, they made these jetties that block stuff from the north and jetties that block stuff from the south. And that's what they're doing. But it's changed the longshore current elsewhere. So there are places where jetties exist and it eats away at the shoreline because replenishment of sand doesn't happen from that longshore current. And like up here, Grayland, it's getting a lot of south wave action, and it's eating away the entire city. So we can zoom in here. Give me the roads. Give me the roads, you son of a biscuit. Worst places, roads. There we go. Come on. There we go. Oh, no, not photos. I want roads. Roads. Come on. Show me the roads. Google, you aren't doing it, man. Okay. Well, we can do this instead. All right. Give me one sec. I think I have to reboot my Google. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Open back up. Come on, Google. There we go. We're doing it. We're doing it. Come on. Get to Washaway Beach. Okay, mouth of Columbia. There's Long Beach, Willapa Harbor, Grayland. Okay. Okay, so you can see the roads kind of go right into the beach. That's because 600 feet a year is being lost by wave action here. You can buy a house for maybe $3,000. It might last a few months until winter, and then it'll be gone. But let's see if we can get it now. 85. Show me. There we go. Okay. There's the roads today, right? And there's where it was in 1985. We can go up to 1990. All right, North Cove. It's a little town there. We can go up to 2005. Oh, it's disappearing. 2006, disappearing some more. 2000. Come on. 2011, disappearing. 13. Oh, cloudy. That didn't help. 16, almost gone. And 2020, here we are. There's North Cove, part of Grayland. The longshore current is no longer depositing sand this far south, and it's eating. And the southerlies are just eating away the beach. That's just getting rid of it. The highway is going to have to get replaced soon. They did build a jetty here to try and protect the highway from the swells, but as you can see, the sand still isn't getting deposited in any decent amount along the shoreline there because of the jetty. You can look at jetties like in Florida. The hotels at Miami Beach will put jetties out. Let's go. Miami Beach. Give me that north-south. Where's one of those jetties that are running everything? Is it Miami Beach or was it further up? Crap. Jetty. I need the... Might not be Miami Beach. I'm thinking of a different Florida beach. Come on. Where are your jetties? Here on the barrier island. I see piers. Did they take all the jetties out because they're destroying the beaches? Is that what was happening? Just gonna follow the Florida coast until we see one. Because I know they're here. Come on, give me the hotel jetties. We're gonna end up in Jacksonville soon. Hotel jetties. Big dog, what are you doing? You're drooling all over me. Did you just go drink water? Is that why your face is so wet? We got the little jetties for the channels here, but that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the beach jetties. I might have to look for pictures. Maybe Florida finally made them take them all out. That's why I don't see them today. Because they were bad for beaches. They were destroying the long... Big dog, quit poking me. Well, here you can see what seawalls do. So these folks pushed out, built a seawall, and now there's no beach. And the longshore current, which goes from south to north, means there's not as much sand getting deposited. And as a result of these guys building a seawall, these folks built their own little barriers to try and protect their sandy beaches from getting eaten away by the water, because they've got seawalls here as well. So if you're going to build a seawall along the beach, you're going to lose all your sand, because it creates this wave action that basically makes almost like a vacuum when the waves break against the seawall and just pull all the sand away. So they've got some of these guys here trying to protect the beach, because this seawall here is blocking all the longshore current transportation of sand as the wave action brings the sand further north. The jetties can do things like that as well. But why don't they do it for Pacific Islands? I mean, there are jetties in Pacific Islands. There's lots of them. Mostly to protect ports from crazy waves like Hilo. Hilo has a giant one that destroyed one of the best surf breaks in the entire world. So we zoom out. Let's go to South Pacific. Go to Hawaii. Zoom in on Hilo. So Hilo gets lots of waves from the direct north, from like wintertime especially. And one of the best big wave surf breaks in the entire world was here. Blonde Reef. It made like a 2.5 mile tube. That was King Kamehameha's favorite surf spot. And they built this giant jetty here to protect the ships coming in and out of Hilo Bay. because the cruise ships and the other ships were just getting battered by waves from the north as a result, without that jetty being there. But there's no beaches on this side to ruin. It's just the reef that they ruined with this huge jetty. You guys are like, whatever. Nomo woke. Designing an object or system that approaches 1/10 the speed of light is just as dangerous and far more realistic than a black hole. I mean, we can theoretically make things that can do that. You just need constant acceleration. And to have constant acceleration, you need a fuel source. So one of the ideas is a ramjet or scramjet, where you have a hydrogen-powered fuel source, and you use that fuel originally to like get going. And once you get going, you're burning hydrogen, you're flying, and you have a big scoop on one end of your engine, and there's these random hydrogen atoms all dispersed throughout the vacuum of space. So the faster you go, the more hydrogen atoms will be entering your system that can be burned. And once you get going fast enough, you're scooping up as many hydrogen atoms as you would if you just had a whole tank of the stuff anyway. Big dog, seriously, you just need to stop being so needy. And that's kind of what we're using. What the idea we're doing. It's what the SR-71 Blackbird did, because at 100,000 feet, there's a fraction of the atmosphere as there is below that, and so it's harder for engines to aspirate. Right? They can't bring in all the oxygen they need to burn the fuel. So the intake cones on the SR-71 engines were designed that at full speed could basically take something like every second as much air as 100,000 people breathing in, because they're going 3,000 miles an hour. So even though the atmosphere is less dense, you can actually densify that air by scooping it all up at those speeds. Big dog, you are just supremely needy right now. What? You got to steal your toy from Monkey Butt and then destroy it for her. What do you need? What can I do for you? What is it you need right now? Because I just can't have your cold nose poking me in the arm every 5 seconds. Okay? Yeah. All right. Just bodies. Some people are making a direct connection between bailouts related to the energy crisis in Europe and MOAS. Does that make any sense to you? Well, everything is so interconnected that I wouldn't doubt if U.S. companies are deeply tied to energy markets in Europe. The central banks in Europe aren't doing that well. And, once one big institution goes down, whatever bonds they hold, stocks they hold, it just is a contagion that spreads, which is why we should not have institutions that are too big to fail, because guess what? They're going to fail. And when they do, it's going to be cataclysmic. If it's like a school of fish, right? If you have 10 million fish, little tiny fish in the school, and something comes along and eats some of them, you know what? They don't really notice. If you have one big fish and something comes along and eats it, the fish is gone. What are you going to do now? It doesn't exist anymore. That's a big deal. So we need smaller and more plentiful institutions out there. We just need to break everything up into smaller and smaller pieces, and that's probably the best thing we could possibly do. Space Monkey, look at AVCT. Are they doing things again? AVCT. Nope, they're not doing anything. It's down to 19 cents. They did have a spike a week ago. They got to 46 cents and then back down there again. A lot of people were on pumping that stock on the 29th and the 30th, and then once they got everyone to buy in, the price dropped 50%. So not much going on with AVCT at the moment. Jason Blackwell, I'm glad you enjoy the geode. Is the outer shell of that thing Jasper? Oh, actually, I didn't look at the outer shell. Big dog, you gotta let me up. You gotta let me up. All right. Looks like it has Jasper in it. But there's also opalized bits. This red stuff might be jasper, the outer ring, but it's very opal-y in how it looks. I need to get my hardness kit out and scratch it and see what that tells me. There's definitely opal veins in it if the red stuff isn't opal as well. But could be jasper. I don't know. I have to get the hardness kit out and do some scratching and see. But thank you. It is a sweet rock. It's good for the collection. Big Dog, you are so weird right now. You are so very weird. Are you like somewhat broke on the inside because you realized Monkey was going to kick your ass? And you just feel threatened by that? And you just can't stand the fact that someone who's half your size can just beat the hell out of you? Like, I know you're designed to kill wolves and protect sheep, but she's designed to kill 400-pound wild boar. And those are scarier than wolves, to be honest. Like, unless you need a pack of wolves to take down a wild boar, and you only need one monkey butt to do it. So, just rest assured that she's just designed to be a fighter more than you are. Even though you want to fight so bad, you're just not very good at it. Okay. Jay Wright, Houston, please explain why you don't believe in dark matter. You guys want to go over this again? All right. Okay. I'm going to bring out the paint. Okay, so I gotta turn you off. I gotta turn you off. I got paint. Okay, here we go. All right, so part of the reason they think brushes, not that, brushes, is that part of the reason we think that we have dark matter is because this is my little galaxy here. Got a couple of spiral arms, the nucleus of the galaxy, and then the stars are all milling about here. Is that there are orbital velocities of stars in a galaxy. So the galaxy rotates, right? And according to Newton and Kepler, we know from the mass of the center of mass and the distance an object is from the center how fast it should orbit. And so we look at a galaxy and we say, oh, so the stars that are here, this star should orbit at such and such velocity, and this star should orbit at a smaller velocity, and this star, because it's closer, should orbit at a much higher velocity. And we look at that. We look at the stars, and we calculate how they're orbiting using Doppler effect and everything. What we discover is, yes, this star is orbiting very fast. Yes, this star is orbiting a little bit slower. But then we discover this star is orbiting faster than it should be, which tells us there's more mass in the system than can be explained. And so scientists are like, oh, let's look for the matter. Let's see. And they looked, and they didn't see any. And they went, oh, well, there's got to be dark matter that exists that makes this thing orbit faster than it should. There's going to be more mass in the system than we can account for. Therefore, there must be dark matter. So originally, they thought it was something called MACHOs, massive compact halo objects. MACHO. Massive compact halo objects. And these, if we do a side profile of a galaxy, it kind of looks like a hat of some kind. The bars come out flat, and then you got the nucleus in the center. There are things that orbit in the halo of the galaxy. They're kind of going... While the galaxy orbits in a plane, there are these objects, globular clusters, and things that orbit kind of around the plane of the galaxy, perpendicular to it. And so they're like, oh, maybe there's a bunch of black holes out here accounting for why there's more mass associated with the center of mass than anything else. They couldn't find any. So finally they went for WIMPs. Weakly interacting massive particles. WIMPs. And these are dark matter particles that don't reflect light. They don't listen to electromagnetism. They pretty much are invisible, but what they have is baryonic mass. They have mass, so they contribute to mass, and the idea is that they're everywhere. So we can see we've got like little galaxy clusters and stuff that are all over the place. We look at a galaxy cluster, and we can see these weird gravitational lensing of objects that are behind these things, suggesting that there's like way more mass in this system than we can see in visible matter, and they think that's dark matter. Okay. The big problems with wimps and machos and thinking there's dark matter everywhere is that, first of all, there is something called shell theorem that Einstein made. And how do I make you bigger? I want to make you bigger so I can keep trying down below. That'll work. Okay. All right. Whoops. So Einstein basically calculated that if you have an object like a planet, right, and you have a person standing on the planet, that their gravitational pull is between them and the center of mass, right? That's what's pulling us down. We would fall through the Earth if the Earth's surface wasn't in the way and end up in the center of mass and just kind of float around in there. But if you were to dig a hole, right? Dig a hole, and you placed a person at the bottom of that hole. So you have a person down here on the opposite side of the planet, and their gravitational pull is between this radius that is their floor and the center of mass. That's what's pulling them down. You do not count any of this other space. Any of the material that is beyond their radius does not count towards the center of mass, and you can now negate it. So, when dealing with objects that are in the halo that are beyond the orbital region of any of the objects that are rotating in the disk of the galaxy, you cannot count these. If these objects are outside the radius of our star that might be here, right? You cannot count them towards the center of mass as contributing to the gravitational pull inside that galaxy. So that negates right there any practical ability of dark matter contributing to the objects. Okay, with dark matter's everywhere. It's flowing throughout the entire galaxy. If there's a bunch of dark matter inside the disk of the galaxy, inside this region here, that it could affect this. Yes, there could. Here's the thing, is that gravity is always attractive. Gravity, there is no anti-gravity. It means any objects that have baryonic mass are attracted to each other. And if one of them happens to be a piece of dark matter and there's a big star or planet, that dark matter will go into that star or planet and stay forever because it's now trapped in that gravitational well. And if there are clouds of dark matter everywhere, we should see through our telescopes as a star passes through a cloud of dark matter, that star suddenly gets way hotter and much more massive because a whole bunch of that dark matter is now inside the center of that star, contributing to the gravitational pressure, making things explode with nuclear collisions way more frequently, making that star more massive and much hotter than it was before. We have never seen that happen in any galaxy. Of the 250 billion galaxies we can observe, we've never seen a star pass through nothing and suddenly become more massive. So, the best detector we have for dark matter is the fact that no star or planet or anything else has ever interacted with it. Number two, the gravitational lensing. So we've got these stars here. Let's see if I can bring up an example of gravitational lensing for you guys. Here we go. Here's gravitational lensing. So this is lensing of something behind the star here. Here's clusters of galaxies. So this is a galaxy cluster. They're pretty massive, and there's a whole bunch of other galaxies behind them that are being lensed around. The light is being bent around the galaxy cluster, and so you can see this is like one galaxy that's now spread out as a lens being projected as the light bends around that gravitational mass. We see it quite a bit when we look out in space. We can see gravitational lensing. Now, they say that there's a bunch of dark matter out here causing this gravitational lensing to happen. No, it's just regular matter. Why? Because when galaxies form, early galaxies, we saw tons of them called radio galaxies. And these radio galaxies are where the black hole is forming at the center of these galaxies, and they're consuming incredible amounts of material. At the same time, these crazy laser jets of energy are coming out of the poles of the black hole as they're sucking everything in, and they push out huge amounts of the mass of these galaxies. And they make these giant lobes. These lobes, I mean, these things are literally like millions of light years across that they're just jettisoning out into space. And so we can look at radio galaxies and we can see the active black holes pushing this material out all over the place. Galaxy pushing material out, galaxy pushing material out. Remember, this galaxy is probably 200,000 light years across, right? And they're basically, you ever seen like a fart on infrared cam? That's basically what these things are doing. They're just farting from both ends. They're just farting out an incredible amount of gas and dust out of these things. It's like imagine a black hole as a garbage disposal that's out of control and you don't have like a cover on it. It's just shooting shit out all over the place. Some of that stuff's getting sucked in, a lot of stuff's getting blasted out from the turbidity. Here's sort of a rendering of what the magnetic field looks like. It gets all twisted, so any charged particle that's in there gets blasted out. And one of the end results of superactive massive black holes is you get an elliptical galaxy. Elliptical galaxies just look kind of like the center of the Milky Way without any disk around them. And they're devoid of all gas and dust. There is no star formation going on here. No new stars are being born because there's no dust to make new stars from. So all the stars are old and aging. And so when you have these massive elliptical galaxies, they don't have no more gas and dust. Like this, here's a spiral galaxy of gas and dust, and new stars are forming. It's kind of bluer in color. And all these elliptical galaxies are kind of orange, yellow, red, because it's all full of old stars. And so what happens is this stuff blasts out far from the center of these galaxies when the black holes are doing their thing, 10 billion years ago. And now all this space around them is full of really, really, really cold hydrogen and helium. So there's a lot of it spread out over a huge distance, and it's just sitting out there, and it's too far away from each other to gravitationally interact, and it's too far away from any heat source to have any energy to it. It might not even have electrons. Electrons may have been stripped off of these suckers, so there's no way if light does hit them that you'd ever notice because it can't absorb any light. The light just passes right through. And so when you get gravitational lensing in one of these places, it's probably all that material got kicked out when the black holes are active, and it's just full of all this inert hydrogen and helium that's out there. So we'll go one step further. All right. Now, if we consider a galaxy, I may have to make this thing longer again, or maybe I'll make it wider. Oops. There we go. Okay, I'll make this wider, and I can scroll over a bit. Okay, so if we look at the profile of a galaxy, we kind of assume a galaxy is kind of like a spiral galaxy is kind of like a cylinder, right? It's 100,000, 200,000 light years across, 100,000 light years across, and maybe 1,000 or 2,000 light years thick. Right? So thin, very thin pancake type thing. Now, the spiral arms of spiral galaxy is where there's the density waves where a whole bunch of gas and dust happen to be collecting and lots of new stars are being born. So they're brighter because there's lots of baby stars in there, lots of big stars. Giant stars don't last very long. And lots of stars being born. Well, when astronomers were calculating the mass of a galaxy, they count the number of stars and they said, okay, there's 100 million stars in this galaxy, therefore it's about 100 million solar masses. That's how big that galaxy is, or 100 billion solar masses, or however many stars there are. Well, there's more dust than there are stars. When the Voyager probe, Voyager 2, escaped the solar system and got into interstellar space, all of a sudden interstellar space is like 40,000 times more dense than the space around our own sun. So we have our sun, we'll call this the sun, and it's radiating outwards. It is pumping out charged particles, radiation, photons, all stuff, and we've got something called solar wind that's pushing particles outside of our solar system. And so it's pushing all these particles outside the solar system, and there becomes a barrier where the solar wind is no longer stronger than interstellar space. And Voyager passed through that barrier. So here, we have got a particle about once every meter or so, every cubic meter. Here, we have 40,000 particles per cubic centimeter, right? So we've got 40,000 particles per cubic centimeter. It is super dense outside of our sun's sphere of influence. And if you extrapolate that across the entire galaxy, and the stars are all, 3 to 10 light years away from each other, so there's a huge chunk of interstellar space full of lots of gas and dust, means if you calculate all the density of the gas and dust for 40,000 particles per cubic centimeter for this disk that is our solar system, you now have a solar system that weighs exactly enough to cause this star to travel faster around the center of our galaxy than we had expected previously. So those are the big reasons why I think dark matter is a bunch of bullshit, because we can explain it away using regular physics we already know and observations we already have to go, oh, we don't need dark matter to explain why these things exist. So, there you go. Hope that worked for you. All right. I should be given a Nobel Prize for this, to be honest. No one else seems to explain it properly. I explain it properly. Give me my Nobel Prize. Okay. Where were we? Was Jay right? Now I'm like just so infinitely behind. I'm past the 2 hour mark right now, so might as well keep going for a bit. I gotta go to the gym at maybe a little after 6. So 2 weeks without the gym, I have lost 8 pounds. 8 pounds of muscle have melted off my body in 2 weeks. My muscles are just shrinking. I am becoming tiny Houston again. My back is better. I need to get buff. I'm gonna do that tonight. Okay. Where were we? Dan Margolo, Houston, since is it a good time to load up on companies that sell winter coats in Europe? I mean, are winter coats, are people going to have any money to buy a winter coat? Like firewood, they're going to log all of Europe and burn it to the ground this winter because everyone's going to try and stay warm. Yeah. Just me, Belgian whale, HW. Why do we have tides in Belgium, North Sea, but not in places where I am now, like Ibiza? Oh man, back to the maps. We're back to the maps. Gotta turn off you, gotta turn on you. Okay, this has to do with how water moves and where you are on the planet. So like Hilo, tropics, the tides maybe move a foot, right? You go up north to where I am in Seattle, and you get like a 12-foot tide swing. You go to certain places like the Bay of Fundy here in Newfoundland, because of the shape of things. The Bay of Fundy has like a 30 or 40-foot tide swing. It's absolutely wild. Look at videos of the tide swing, especially in these like inner bays. Just absolutely crazy tide swings. Now, that is because you got big giant oceans, and the big giant oceans are following the moon. So there's lots of water that can move very well. In places like Ibiza, here in the Mediterranean, it is hard for the water to get out of the Straits of Gibraltar to go join the party and follow the moon around. So it's like why you don't get big tide swings in lakes, because the water doesn't have any water. It can't go to the other side of the earth to follow the moon and make for the tide swings. So Ibiza in Spain, little island right here. And so, because the water can't get in and out of the Mediterranean or in and out of the Black Sea very easily, you don't get big tide swings that slosh back and forth like you do in the Pacific, Atlantic, and Indian Oceans, where a lot of water, I mean, there's a lot of water here that can move from one side to the other trying to follow the moon, and a boatload of water that can move from one side to the other in the Pacific in general. And because the moon essentially follows almost along the equator. It varies, a few degrees here and there because it kind of wobbles a bit. Where you get the biggest tide swings are actually further away because more water gets pulled towards the moon from these areas when the moon's going overhead. So you can get some bigger tide swings as a result of that action. So that's why. What was this? Prontal. What other shows do you contribute to on a regular basis? Where can we find more Houston? I haven't really, I don't know. It's been about once a month. I go on someone else's show. The last time I visited with somebody was last month with Jackson Hunter. I always want to call him Hunter Jackson. I'm sorry, Jackson. I flip your name around. That's the biggest sin because my name gets flipped around all the time also. But yeah. I was hoping to have Bigums on, and then my Twitter account vanished and I have no way to contact him. And I also have no way to contact Boss Blunts anymore because you were contacted through Twitter DMs. But both of them, we'll get something done, man. We'll get something lined up with those guys. William Morgan, September 7th, 2022, New York Stock Exchange dropped a new short squeeze rule. Really? Really? Yes, elaborate, sir. Sindri Sneer. If you own a stock on the OTC market that uplists to NASDAQ or New York Stock Exchange, what happens to your stock? It just becomes, you own it still, and it becomes just on those exchanges instead, and now trade with the big boys and can be bought on people's little apps that can't trade in the OTC. Trying to figure out what type of humanoid he descended from. Ricky Bobby, how could Ape hit $2,000? Houston, expound, sir. Well, let's say you are required to buy it and no one wants to sell it. That's how it can hit $2,000. Because no one wants to sell it, but you need it. You're required to buy it. So you have to keep bidding higher and higher and higher and higher and higher and higher until you get to the point where someone's like, $2,000, I'll sell you one. And all of a sudden, the price is $2,000. That's how it gets there. This was one earlier, Corinth Canal. Oh, this is the one where the boats are like scraping the edges of the canal in Greece, right? Yeah. So, this is a canal that was dug through the island here. And let's see if there's any ships in this. Any ships in here? Got a landslide. I don't see any cruise ships going through here at the moment. The images of the ships going through are crazy. Let's see if we can find one. Chrome. Canal. Yeah, here we go. Here's a cruise ship going through the corner of the canal. This thing is so narrow, absolutely wild to see stuff go through. Big ships passing through. You have to get pulled, tugged along, and then and look at that thing. It's just wide enough to fit through. That's so silly looking. Absolutely crazy. It's nuts. It's crazy. It's wild. It's insane. It's crazy insane. That's what that is. Okay. Danger the Banjo. Houston, what is going on with them trying to blame RC for Bed Bath & Beyond Pump and Dump? Is the system so corrupt they will get rid of RC with a bogus lawsuit to try and cancel MOS? That's exactly what they're going to do. That's how they operate, man. They will never pay if they aren't forced to. And as long as they can make reasons why they shouldn't be forced to pay, they won't. And so they'll try anything because it's cheaper than paying. Paying a lawsuit, $1 million to do a bogus lawsuit, a law firm $1 million to do a bogus lawsuit, is cheaper than paying $1 trillion for all the stock that you owe because you sell and never deliver. Okay, I'm gonna scroll down because I'm sorry I'm missing like an hour or more of chats, but I'm gonna do a few more here down towards the end. And then I'll be it for the day. And I'll see you guys probably on Friday. Okay. BW brand SR71 engine compresses air from 0.08 pounds per square inch to 25,000 pounds per square inch at 120,000 feet. Yeah. The engine's bonkers, man. It's absolutely incredible. And so we can imagine we could put some sort of scramjet, ramjet like that on something in space and take something that is essentially a vacuum in space. If you're going fast enough, you're going to collect all those dense particles. You're going to densify those particles and collect them and you can burn them. I don't know what prompted this, bruh. I can only handle maybe 4 pissed off roosters at once, and I'll be full of holes by the end of it. Yeah, there'd be a lot of punting going on with those roosters, and they just come right back for you. I'm listening on headphones, and my dogs heard that dog fight. Okay. Can't trust chickens or llamas. It's true. Llamas will spit in your face at 180 miles an hour and it will sting. I got spit in the face by a llama once when I was like 12. My brother was like, go make funny faces at llama. I was like, okay. The llama was like, puh! That's how I learned that llamas will spit. It's their only defensive mechanism. That and like just aimlessly stomping if they can. Wait, kitty cat. No, monkey. Leave the cat alone. Hey, everyone leave the cat alone. He just wants to say hello. You don't need to go act like he's new. He's been here the entire time. Okay. Now he's, I think, climbing up into the thing. Okay. Boring most days. Houston on there being no anti-gravity. Thoughts on Bob Laser Element 115? Bob Laser is full of shit and a complete liar. There's no anti-gravity. There's no magical element that suddenly has anti-gravity associated with it. There's nothing. Bob Laser is a guy who took one class at community college and then told everyone he was a physics professor. He's not. He's just a liar. Okay. B2B brand is on my back for the first time in a year. The thing is fucking sexy. I should look at it more. Just look at my back, baby. Yeah. Okay. What do we got here? Houston, what bear is best? Sun bears? Because of the goofiest looking bears? Right? Sun bear. You can go with sun bear. Yeah, I'm going to go with sun bear just because they're so goofy looking. And they can rip your arms off, but they don't look as terrifying as other bears do when they want to do it. So, okay. All right. Dudes, come on. No, just leave the cat alone. Leave the cat alone. He's allowed to exist and enjoy his life. He doesn't need you making it harder for him. All right, everybody. I'll see you Friday. I'm going to try and do a Twitch stream. I did one last night, and they're always fun. If you're up late or you're waking up early, let's do some Twitch streaming. I got another perfect game last night. I almost got 2 perfect games, but I couldn't find my spot in Japan. I just couldn't figure it out. Yeah, it's fun. All right, cool. Yeah, one of these outro time. Yeah.